Why do former gifted students commonly end up messed up as they get older? I was a gifted student in elementary. I was told how smart I was and how talented I am for my art and academic skills. Years later, 19 years old, I'm a social outcast, awkward and weird with bad social anxiety. I'm depressed and just fucked up in general. I see on the internet and even my friends who were gifted like me in a similar situation. Why does this happen? When I was a gifted kid I got screwed socially because everyone told me how smart I was, and the first time things didn't come easily it messed me up. When I did poorly people knew I was better than that. I was exhausted by expectations and fear of failure from years of people telling me what I was without ever asking or caring beyond my GPA. I was also deemed gifted when I was younger. Really all that meant was that I picked things up quicker than other kids. Because of that I didn't learn to put in the work to get results I wanted because I didn't have to, it was easy. I breezed through high school AP classes, but once I got into college for engineering, that shit didn't fly. I struggled to pick up the work ethic of putting hours and hours every day into the material and dropped out. It's extremely rare to make it on pure talent. Without work ethic your gift is essentially useless. As a former teacher, gifted kids are held to a standard that other kids aren't. When they slack off or produce subpar work, people get really disappointed. It's hard to maintain that level of success but also people-pleasing. Sometimes kids just want to be kids and write a half-assed essay? Any failure or struggle becomes this internalized grievance. As for socially, I think it really depends on the child. Some of them are introverts. Some of them are tired of always being used as an example or pulled out of class. Some are victims of jealousy and it makes them uncomfortable and they retreat. Some of them their parents went heavy on academics when they were young and nothing on the social side, so they just didn't learn the skills. I've also had gifted students who just had an attitude. When they were younger, they weren't patient with their peers or didn't want to try to socialize they were used to people just naturally hyping them up. After years of not building connections or being impatient, friendships just weren't built. One other point I always found interesting: my gifted kids usually gravitated towards my troublemaker. Hate that phrase, but regardless. It's like the troublemaker had the freedom and confidence, the gifted kid had the brains and skills. Together they learned something from each other, felt safe. Gifted children are special needs in the sense that it really sets them back in school because everything is easy to learn initially. It's easy to do most of elementary high school for gifted children without putting in much efforts or learning good habits that is needed to actually understand concepts or what to do when you get stuck on a problem. Then when university and higher level of problems come in, you get stuck with not having tried very hard with trying to mimic other people who have developed good learning habits for 10+ years and find out they struggle. Because we are expected to be tops in everything and punished for failure, so we grow up into anxious adults who have an irrational fear of failure and somehow have executive dysfunction like a motherfucker.